Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Playbook presented by TeamFYNsports. I'm Jake West, the director of TeamFYNsports, and along with me is our co-host, Tim Towe. Tim, you're the athletic director at Fannin County Rec Department, right?
Yes, sir.
What all have you been doing with Fannin County since you've been over there in the Rec Department?
Well, I'm lucky and blessed to have a great job at the Fannin County Recreation Department. Eddie O'Neill's the recreation director there. Got a great friend of mine who I work with also, John Spargo. Me and him both are the athletic coordinators there. We got a great thing going on at Fannin County Recreation. Of course, we offer a lot of sports: football, basketball, baseball, soccer, softball, volleyball, golf, and tennis. So we stay on our toes about 365 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for sure.
All those sports you just listed, that's what this show, the Playbook, that's what we'll be covering. We won't be just football. I mean, obviously right now football's in full swing, so that's what we'll be focused on right now. But getting on into basketball season, baseball season, stuff like that, we'll be talking about that going forward. But Tim and I have started just this year picking our TeamFYNsports games of the week. And Tim, I believe you were 14-3 overall. Only picked 3 games incorrectly heading into last week, and I think I was 9-8. So quite a bit.
Lost 2 last
behind yours. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Until last week, threw a wrench in both of our plans. We both lost 2 games last week. Last week it was rainy and cold, I think pretty much everywhere in North Georgia. The game that shocked me the most last week was White County and Dawson.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were very high on White County coming into that game. We talk a lot about Brian Allison at Union County, about how good of a head coach Brian Allison is, but obviously you can say the same thing for Sid Maxwell at Dawson County. I don't think Sid Maxwell gets enough credit as he does. I mean, he's took Dawson County to playoffs, and now you can make an argument that Dawson is the region favorite now in 7 AAA. A region that they have been back and forth with the past few years with Great Atlantic Christian and North Hall, and now that you can make an argument with them beating White County on Friday that they're the region favorite. With North Hall possibly just a little down this year, that region could be North Hall's to take. Dawson County's to take.
Yeah, I saw a state rankings, and it had White County as being the first team out of the top 10 rankings, and especially now that I don't know exactly what happened. I wasn't there. We had a reporter there Friday, Noah Rubin, who covers our Dawson County, White County, that area. He told me that J-Ben came out in the second quarter, I think, right before the first half ended. J-Ben Haynes, White County's quarterback, so that's going to be a big blow for them. Speaking of last weekend, quarterback trouble, Copper Basin and McMinn, I went into that game thinking that Copper Basin was going to come away easily. I mean, they beat McMinn last year, and I expected them to go in and with as good a team as they have this year. But they do have a little bit of quarterback controversy too, with Grabowski hurting his knee. Their starting quarterback, Bryson Grabowski, and him being out. What do you think about them last week? And I mean, McMinn showed that they're a lot better than they looked on paper.
McMinn Central, very good defensive team, but first of all, I just want to give a shout out to the Copper Basin Cougars right now, sitting at 6-1, and even despite the loss, they're still number 4 in Tennessee Class 1A in the state rankings. So it definitely stinks for the Grabowski loss. He's a great player, good kid, and was putting up some great numbers this season. So hopefully the Cougars can rally around that. Obviously a tough loss this past Friday night against McMinn Central. But still a lot to play for the Cougars. I know Chance Rollins, the anchor of that offensive line, his leadership role now has stepped up times 10. And if I know a lot of these people in Copper Basin, they're still hungry. They're still hungry, and they've got a lot to play for.
Oh yeah, this is kind of a historic season for Copper Basin, being at 6-1 for the first time in a long time. I mean,
absolutely,
their program's been kind of down, and Chad Grabowski's really came over there and turned that program in a whole complete different direction.
Yeah, they've got a great staff. Of course, Coach Grabowski, the head coach, but Jeremy Locke, DJ Underwood, Brady Lepford, some of the guys on the staff, they do a great job. over there at Copper Basin. Of course, Copper Basin are not like these Georgia facilities. They all have turf fields. They don't have,
Yeah.
no disrespect, but they don't have the great facilities that a lot of these Georgia schools that we cover have. So they do a good job with them. And Basin is sitting at 6-1, still likely are probably going to host a playoff game. Because they have to have, and we'll talk about their region in just a minute, but still a lot to play for, including 2 big games against Fannin County. Of course, that was going to be a big rivalry game next week, which we're going to be covering and talking about that game at length next week, I'm sure, because that'd be the first time since '96 or '97 that the 2 schools have played.
Oh yeah, that'll be, speaking of playoffs, that'll be a playoff atmosphere
It will
over
be a
there.
playoff atmosphere. There's going to be so many people at that game, and I can't wait to be there on the sidelines. It's going to be a fun game, but still a lot to play for Copper Basin despite the loss. Of course, they will have to travel to South Pitt after the Fannin game, but they need to hopefully take care of business this
Did you
week.
see, speaking of South Pitt, did you see what they are? What are they ranked?
They
in
are
the
ranked
state?
number 1
They were
in
number
Class
one.
1A.
Number one.
They are ranked number 1 in Class 1A. Now, they are actually coming off a loss to Meigs County, who was ranked number 2 in Class 2A in Tennessee. So a good effort there by the Pirates, but they came up just short against Meigs County last week as well.
Last week we also had Gilmer and Cherokee Bluff. That was kind of a, we all saw that coming with as good a team as Cherokee Bluff has over there, and with Gilmer still trying to rebuild. I mean, Gilmer, I guess they're 2-3 right now, 2-4 right now.
I think so, but credit Gilmer County for keeping that game close. I
Yeah.
thought it would be a lot. I thought Cherokee Bluff would win by more points than they did, and credit Coach Saunders and that bunch for the fight that they showed and keeping that. I think it was 21-6 was the final.
Mhm.
So credit Gilmer County. They're hanging tough, and don't rule out Gilmer County for a spot in the playoffs in Region 7 AAA. Do not count the Bobcats out at all.
For sure. That Cherokee Bluff team, though, with them being undefeated, they've won more games this year than I think the past 2 years combined. They've really flipped
Yeah.
the script on what's going on over there.
Yeah, great location, Jake. They're right there in Hall County. Well, they're to me they're a sleeping giant. I've heard several people say that Cherokee Bluff is a sleeping giant. And I think in the next few years you're going to see them take that to the next level. I know they got a few transfers that have helped them from Riverside Military Academy. Of course, Riverside Military Academy, one of the few schools in Georgia that opted out to not have a season this year. So I think that's a very very big part of Cherokee Bluff's programs that they were able to get a few of the good players from Riverside. That's really helped them this far. I think they're 5-0 this so far. Cherokee Bluff is.
Yep, they are. Well, let's go to the Rebels, their game last week. Tim's also the host of the show right before this, the Rebel Wrap-Up, every Tuesday at 6:30 here at Circuit World. And he has Coach Chad Cheatham on, along with usually another assistant coach and a few Rebel players. Emily, can you go ahead and play the Fannin and Gordon Central highlights? Fannin played Gordon Central last week, and their offense really poured it on, but their defense is also kind of, you don't want to say an unsung hero of a season like they're having, but I don't think they're really getting enough credit.
They're not. You know, a lot of people want to talk about the offense, of course, with Luke Holloway, the quarterback, and so many receivers, Kahutta Hyde, Andre Bivens, Jalen Ingram, and Caleb Postella at the running back position, Seth Reese, a lot of weapons, and of course a good offensive line led by Mason Bundy, Liberty commit. But the defense has really stepped up for Fannin County this year, and you know, I heard somebody call Georgia University of Georgia the no-name defense, and Fannin County, while you wouldn't call them the no-name defense, they aren't getting enough credit as they deserve, and they are making plays. I think I saw something today. I can't remember how many points allowed. I think it was maybe 9.7 points per game allowed, and they're having a great start, led by defensive coordinator Adam Turner right there. So the Rebels defense is playing very good football.
Not just the defense being unsung, but also Luke Holloway coming off a career game that he had against Gordon Central last week. It blows my mind that a kid like that, such a good kid, such a high grade point average, never in any trouble, always just real big in the community, the whole family, to be a quarter halfway through his senior season and not have any offers. I mean,
I think they're coming. I think they're coming. Of course, you got to remember a lot of colleges now don't know how many players they're going to have coming back due to the NCAA granting next years of eligibility. So Luke Holloway's going to get some offers. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. He's had a great season so far, and I expect him to finish strong for the Rebels.
I agree. I think with as good a kid as Luke is, and especially the colleges that we're surrounded by in this area, even if he goes somewhere small and then ends up, I mean, you look at somebody like Cam Newton went to a smaller school, ended up being at Auburn, Florida, was at a JUCO and stuff like that. I could see that happening, especially with how the bigger schools, like you said, are going to have to be handling their scholarship opportunities and stuff like that. I could see Luke going somewhere small and then building up the resume like he has in high school, building that up throughout some JUCO years or something like that, of where he could find himself playing Division I football somewhere.
Luke's got a high ceiling, Jake. He's got a very high ceiling. He's got a very good football IQ. He's going to play on Saturday somewhere.
All right. We'll be back with the second segment of the Playbook presented by Team FYNsports here in just a minute.
At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family. At Ingalls, we know that school is a little different this year, with virtual learning and working from home. But we have continued to donate to our Tools for Schools program, just like always. And all our participating schools will have those funds waiting for them when the bell rings this fall.
Okay, who can tell me the difference between molarity and molality?
In the meantime, Ingalls has everything you need to make this school year a little easier. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. Those everyday celebrations that bring a smile to our faces and joy to our hearts. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature, memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the premiere episode of the Playbook presented by Team FYNsports. I'm Jake West and joined with me by co-host Tim Towe. Tim, since we were already talking about Fannin, let's go ahead and jump forward to this Friday night with their big game against Pepperell.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest game in North Georgia, and you can make an argument that it's the biggest game in Class 2A. Huge game in Lindale, Fannin County, Pepperell. Probably the two top teams in the region. I think the winner will probably be the region champ out of this. Loser will still probably get to host a playoff game, but I think everybody really knows how important this game is for both sides.
Yeah, I agree. You got Fannin coming in ranked 8th in 2A, right?
Recruit Georgia does have them ranked 8th, yes.
Ranked 8th, and I think Pepperell is 20th or 22nd in the Max Preps rankings in 2A.
Yeah, I saw in Recruit Georgia where I think they had them like at 12th or 14th.
Okay.
And they're just on the outside looking in. Do not let the 2-3 record fool you for Pepperell. They have played Haralson, Heard County, Temple, Bremen. All 4 of those teams in Region 5A are very good football teams, and they have come on the short end of a few of those games, but they've not been blown out. Their running back is a very good back. I'm not sure if he's got his cast off yet, but he's going to be a factor. They're a good football team, and just because they're 2-3 don't mean that they're a mediocre football team. They're not. They're a playoff football team. They're probably going to be hosting a playoff game no matter what the outcome of the game is Friday night. And it's something Fannin County can't take lightly, and I don't think they're going to take lightly. I think Coach Cheatham's got the guys ready to play on Friday night, and the guys are focused. This is going to be a fun one Friday night. I can't wait. I really can't.
I agree. We don't have a lot of history going back between Fannin and Pepperell. I think Fannin's 0-2 overall against Pepperell.
Yeah, I think they met like in 88, 87, and 88 last time, and both those games were actually in Lindale. And this one, ironically, is in Lindale too. So Pepperell owes Fannin a few games at home in the near future.
Maybe not a lot of history on the field, but we've had some chirping like on Twitter between the teams.
But between a team.
Yeah, you're right. It's more one-sided than the other. But we have Pepperell coming off the blowout win over Dade County, and we've even got Dade County's coach.
Just all that.
Dade County's coach tweeting a little bit. I think he said Bama this weekend. Bama will buy a lot this weekend, and Pepperell will buy more than you think. Yeah. So we've got a lot of outsiders looking in that are probably wishing they could be in either one of these two teams' shoes.
Absolutely. Just going over the region standings right quick in 7AA. Fannin and Pepperell, of course, are at 1-0. Dade County and Gordon Central lost last week to Pepperell and Fannin. Chattooga, Coosa, and Model have yet to play a region game. Coosa is sitting at 3-1. Not a lot of people giving the Coosa Eagles a lot of credit, and they play the other region game this week against Model, and not a lot of people really giving Coosa a chance there. I think Coosa may be motivated enough, and that game is very interesting. It'll have major implications for a region playoff game with Model traveling to Coosa on Friday night. That's the other region game in 7AA with Fannin and Pepperell.
Yeah, I agree. That game is kind of flying under the radar, but as most games will in 2A this week, with such a big game between Fannin and Pepperell coming up. It's going to be super cold on Friday.
It is.
Super cold.
It is.
We had a cold, wet one last week. Hopefully we won't get wet this week, but it is going to be cold. That's going to affect the play between the two teams and probably the way that the coaches are game planning heading into this one.
Yeah, it's going to be really the first cold game of the year for both teams, really. Of course, last week was kind of wet and cold, but not as cold as it's going to be on Friday night. So I'm looking forward to making the trip. I've heard a lot about this fire-breathing dragon that Pepperell has, so looking forward to seeing that. I've heard they have a cannon that goes off. That's not going to affect us because we obviously are used to our cannon going off, and it's been going off a lot this year. So I'm really excited to make the first trip to Pepperell. They've got a very good head coach. Rick Hurst has been there a long time, has done a good job. I can't wait. It's going to be a great football game.
Let's switch gears and head over to Pickens at Cedartown this week. Pickens is 2-3, struggling a little bit this year, still rebuilding. Both Pickens wins come against Gilmer and Coosa, and we got just a powerhouse as always in Cedartown. I could see the Dragons putting up a little bit of a fight for the first half, but I think that just with them being rebuilding and Cedartown being as good as they are, I think it's going to be a little lopsided.
Jake, it don't help the games at Cedartown either. Tough place to play. Of course, I know Dragon fans probably remember when Nick Chubb was at Cedartown back in the Chris Parker days at Pickens County. I like Pickens' youth. They're building for the future right now. Sammy Stryker at quarterback doing a great job. Just a freshman. I don't even think he's even 15 years old yet.
Yeah.
You gotta tip your cap to him. He's been thrown to the fire and he's done a great job. But I don't think Pickens will win the football game. Hope they put up a good fight. But I think the Dragons will come up short on Friday night against Cedartown.
I don't think we can have any Pickens slander around here with our guy RJ Casey.
Oh yeah.
He might call in. But Cedartown, we have them ranked 9th. Is that last I saw? Ranked 9th in 4A, and their last loss was against Calhoun, 14-7, and Calhoun is, as most people know,
very good football team.
Yeah.
Very good football team. Just going over the Region 7 4A standings, Northwest Whitfield right now is sitting at 4-0. Central out of Carrollton's 3-1, who's having a very good year. Heritage is 3-2. Cedartown's 2-2, but obviously have played a very tough schedule. As just mentioned, Calhoun, of course, these are non-region standings. This is the first week of region play. Pickens is at 2-3. Southeast Whitfield is actually thrown into this region, but they are actually playing a non-region schedule. So when they do play a region schedule, they will go back into this region. They're at 1-5, so you got to just talk about them. But for this season, they are not playing a region schedule. Then Ridgeland off to an 0-5 start. Very uncharacteristic there for Ridgeland, who
for sure
is having a slow start to the season. Games in this region, you've got Shrine playing at Southeast, Pickens at Cedartown, Northwest Whitfield at Central Carrollton, and Heritage at Ridgeland this week. So opening up region play, a lot of action there in 7-4A.
Let's go over to Gilmer County as they host Lumpkin County this week. This is a region game, obviously. Gilmer is coming off of their loss to Cherokee Bluff. We talked about how Cherokee Bluff's got things rolling over there. Lumpkin is coming off the bye week. The last game that they played was against St. Francis, where they lost. Lumpkin just doesn't have anything going their way this year at all.
They don't, Jake. They got a lot of youth. Lumpkin County, unfortunately, I think Gilmer may put 40 or 50 points on them. Lumpkin County's not shown me much of how they can stop anybody. So I know Coach Sorrell's got a lot to work with in the future. But as of right now, I think Gilmer County would probably win pretty big this Friday night.
Yeah, for sure, especially with Gilmer heading in the direction that they are, considering the past 2 years that they have had. I think they're definitely heading in the right direction. And, I mean,
And here's the thing, Lumpkin County fans, you got to realize the situation you're in. I think I heard there's 30 freshmen on the team.
it's kind of like with what I see in Lumpkin right now is I wouldn't take this game lightly if I was Gilmer, because Lumpkin's going in this game with absolutely nothing to lose. And if Gilmer loses this, they take a huge step back.
Absolutely.
In
I don't think it's happened, but my main thing is if I'm a Lumpkin County fan, I encourage you guys to stay with it because the future does look bright. I know they've got some great middle school football teams right now as well. The future's bright. Unfortunately, those guys are just a few years away. So hang in there, Lumpkin. Hang in there.
The next game we're going to go to is North Georgia at Copper Basin. North Georgia, a homeschool team, I believe. They're sitting at 2-4, heading against Copper Basin team that's 6-1, coming off of a blow they took to McMinn. I honestly expected them to run the table up until the Fannin game that we're going up to next week. I expected both Fannin and Copper Basin to go into that game. Well, not really expected to. That's what I hoped for in my heart, to see both those two teams, especially as close as they are.
I think we all wanted that game for both teams to be undefeated. That's still not going to take away from the magnitude of the game and the atmosphere. It's still going to be a special event, playing for the first time since '97. Of course, the teams did scrimmage last year, but it's going to be a special scene there in 2 weeks.
For sure. They do have Grabowski out, who is a big part of their offense. Who do you think that they're going to look to with Grabowski being out? They've got to go to Sebastian on the ground.
Yes, you've got to think about Sebastian Blyles, a kid who's ran for a lot of yards this year. Like we said, Chance Rollins, on the member of the offensive line. They're Basin still, just because Grabowski's hurt, they're not going to quit. They got a lot to play for, and I think they'll get it done against the North Georgia Christian Falcons this Friday night.
You said they have a lot to play for. Some might say even more to play for now that Grabowski's out with him being his senior year.
Absolutely. There's still a chance to host a home playoff game still on the line. I think they've already clinched a playoff spot, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to go to the playoffs. So now they obviously need to keep winning. I think their only region game left is against South Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's the last game they have this season, right?
So they're probably going to host a playoff game. They may already be set in stone.
And I mean, North Georgia is coming off a loss to Sell Creek, 14-6. Team that Basin beat earlier in the year, 48-0. I mean, I know they had Grabowski, but you can't think that bodes well for the Falcons coming off of.
No, and I think the Cougars at home will be motivated.
Oh yeah, you talked about their facilities earlier, how they may not have the nicest and the best, but it's a heck of an atmosphere over there.
The fans really love their Copper Basin.
Oh yeah, and when the sun sets over there in that bowl, I mean it's a view that we could only get in the area that we are in.
Absolutely. That fly's been here since 6:30.
We would normally have Lincoln County at Towns County this week, but that game has been canceled due to COVID from Towns County side. And we have Union County, who they'll be on their second bye this week because I think their game last week was canceled due to COVID also.
Yes, Woodland had to cancel against Union County.
But they did get to reschedule, add Gilmer onto their schedule for later in the year. So that'll be one that we look forward to. Folks, we thank you for tuning in to the Playbook presented by Team FYNsports, and we'll be here every Wednesday from here on out. Starting at 7:15, we'll be talking tennis, golf, football, basketball, whatever's on. Talking about the Braves getting their butts kicked 11-0 in the first inning of the playoff game. Just whatever comes to mind. So we thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Jake.